Hi, thanks for joining. It's Ray with Tarot Living. So today we're going to talk about the astrological attributions of the court cards. So this is a really big subject, and I'm sure that I'm not going to touch on all of it by any stretch of the imagination. However, I do want to just talk about a couple of little things. So just to preface this, I have to say that I do follow the astrological attributions that were set out by the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, which was an esoteric group that was developed in 1888. Aleister Crowley, who created the Thoth deck, and Arthur E. Waite, who created Rider-Waite-Smith, were both part of the Golden Dawn, and they were really doing a lot of research and work on tarot as it related to esoteric practices. So the Golden Dawn really developed much of what we understand in terms of our tarot card meanings today. It actually is rooted in the esoteric work that the Golden Dawn did years and years ago, relating tarot to the Kabbalah. And the numbering system is related to the Kabbalah and also related to the astrological attributions that were given, along with Hebrew letters. So it's very complex and it's very detailed, and I'm only going to touch on a few of the things today. So let's recap some of the information that we learned in part 3 of this video series. So first of all, in terms of the correlation or the attributions of court cards to the astrological signs, all of the queens relate to cardinal astrological signs. So Aries relates to the Queen of Wands, Cancer relates to the Queen of Cups, Libra relates to the Queen of Swords, and Capricorn relates to the Queen of Pentacles. In terms of the kings, they relate to the fixed astrological signs. So Taurus relates to the King of Pentacles, Leo relates to the King of Wands, Scorpio relates to the King of Cups, and Aquarius relates to the King of Swords. The Knights relate to all the mutable astrological signs. So Gemini relates to the Knight of Swords, Virgo relates to the Knight of Pentacles, and Sagittarius relates to the Knight of Wands. And finally, Pisces relates to the Knight of Cups. And those are the astrological attributions for the court cards. I'm now going to show you that same information on an astrology wheel. So if we were going to take the same information and we're going to put it on a wheel astrologically, it's going to look like this. Now remember that a natural astrology wheel always starts with Aries on the left-hand side of the wheel, and it is going to go around, so it's going to go down. So it's counterclockwise. So I'm going to show you now what that looks like if you put all of that information on an astrology wheel. Okay, so the Queen of Wands is the first card that we're going to look at, and as you can see by the astrology wheel, she's associated with the sign, the astrological sign of Aries. And Aries is a fire sign and a cardinal modality, and ruled by the very active planet of Mars. So Aries people tend to be independent, like to take initiative, dynamic, courageous and brave, pioneering. They can be quite dominating, and they love to put their energy into something, whether that be a goal or a project. They're always thinking about what's the next thing that they're going to do. And the Queen of Wands is the card that is associated with 0 to 20 degrees of Aries. That is her primary rulership or association. And 20 to 30 degrees of Pisces. And the Queen of Wands, in terms of characteristics or keywords, she's energetic, assertive, passionate, life of the party. She has great leadership skills, good business sense, independent, enterprising, and can be very career-minded and competitive. The most extroverted of the queens. If married, she successfully runs her home and will fiercely defend her interests. Can be domineering and self-involved. So you can see from those key words how the relationship between Aries and the Queen of Wands is very clear. Okay, and the second court card is the King of Pentacles, and he is associated with the sign of Taurus, as you can see on the astrology wheel. And Taurus is a fixed earth sign. So Taurus people tend to be quite stable, dependable. They dislike change. They love security. They're always looking toward financial security and even emotional security. They like to feel that things are secure. conservative, pragmatic, and practical. They tend to be quite loyal. They very much like sensualities and the good things in life, so good food and wine, that kind of thing, and can be self-indulgent and materialistic at times and somewhat stubborn. So the King of Pentacles rules or is attributed to 0 to 20 degrees of Taurus and 20 to 30 degrees of Aries. And some of the key words for the King of Pentacles include master of the physical plane. He tends to be ambitious, practical, stable, conservative, reliable, and a mature person. Disciplined, has control, power, and perseverance. He tends to be good with financial and mathematical capability. And also he's excellent in terms of earned success, security, property, maybe even real estate. He values tangible possessions. The next core card we're going to look at is the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is associated with the sign of Gemini. So Gemini is what we call a mutable air sign. And some of the characteristics are that they're curious, mentally oriented, like communication, quick-witted, expressive, clever, can be very sociable, adaptable, changeable. Sometimes keep things on the more superficial side, interested in many different things rather than one thing deeply, and quite dexterous, so Gemini rules the hands. So the Knight of Swords is the card that is attributed or relates to Gemini 0 to 20 degrees as the primary, and Taurus 20 to 30 degrees. So some of the characteristics for the Knight of Swords include swift person, adept, assertive, good communicator, but more aggressive. A younger person who is mentally active with decisive action and a forceful intellect. Can be restless, versatile, adaptable, and not afraid of any conflict or expressing thoughts. Likes forward action, is competitive and focused. The next card we're going to look at is the Queen of Cups, and she is related to or attributed to the sign of Cancer. And Cancer is a water sign, and it is what we call a cardinal modality. Cancers tend to be intuitive, maternal, domestic, very sympathetic, emotional. In fact, a lot of emotions can very quickly come and go because the moon rules Cancer. Family-oriented and very connected to the past. But they can be very tenacious and extremely devoted, particularly to family and those that they love. So the Queen of Cups is attributed or associated with 0 to 20 degrees of Cancer, which is her primary rulership, and Gemini, which is 20 to 30 degrees, so the latter part of Gemini. So some keywords for Queen of Cups are emotional, sensitive, kind, empathetic, imaginative, artistic, creative, receptive, and she tends to be a motherly figure, someone who is very nurturing, knows how to take care of herself and others. She's in touch with her emotions, interested in spirituality, or maybe very intuitive or psychic, often a very devoted wife, mother, caring, and a helper. So you can see the connection between the Queen of Cups and the sign of Cancer very easily. So the next card is the King of Wands, and as you can see, it's associated with the astrological sign of Leo. And Leo is what we call a fixed fire sign. So some of the characteristics of Leo are proud, being very proud, ambitious, creative, fiery, and dramatic. They definitely are idealistic and want to fulfill many personal goals in terms of creative expression. Very romantic, generous, and can be overbearing and autocratic at times. So the King of Wands is attributed to or relates to the 0 to 20 degrees of Leo, the sign of Leo, which is primary rulership, and Cancer 20 to 30 degrees. So some of the key words that we use for the King of Wands in tarot include a mature person who is in charge, a decisive leader, commanding presence, someone who's charismatic, a visionary, a spiritual leader, loyal and devoted family man, can be impulsive, definitely a business person or a business owner, professional, a motivator of others, manager of people, and an inspiring teacher, negotiator, very ambitious and creative. So those are some of the keywords for both, and you can see the connection between the King of Wands and Leo. The next court card is the Knight of Pentacles, which is related to the astrological sign of Virgo. Virgo is a mutable earth sign. And some of the characteristics of Virgos are that they're analytical, practical, methodical, hardworking, discriminating, very organized and have an attention to detail, industrious, they're good at manifesting things, they're very exacting and orderly, very health conscious, and can tend toward being critical or worrying about the small things or being too picky. The Knight of Pentacles relates to 0 to 20 degrees of Virgo, which is its primary sign, and Leo 20 to 30 degrees. Some of the key words for the Knight of Pentacles in tarot are that he's practical, responsible, reliable, skilled, steadfast, stable and hardworking, and a dependable person. He can be deliberate and have health body awareness, love of nature, realistic, and good with facts and data. He can be a little more on the idle and indolent side in terms of getting stagnant or getting too cautious or too conservative, though. So you can see the relationship between Virgo and the Knight of Pentacles. So I hope you found this helpful. Basically, this video is just to list off and to understand what the astrological attributions of your court cards are. It's not going to help you with all of your interpretation yet, because my next 12 videos are going to do that. But these are the astrological attributions as they relate to the Golden Dawn system. So I hope this has been helpful. Please do take notes, write it down, do some study, and then feel free to go on to my next videos as I'm able to post them. And I'm going to be doing in my next videos one video for every court card to give you information about the court card and the sign in particular that they fall under. And then we're going to do a sample reading for each one. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up or throw me a comment. I do love hearing from you very much. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.